Hello, eyes will hear, ears will see. My name is Wayne Sutphin, and I'm coming to you on another episode of Graffiti Manga, where I'm going to be on this episode. Question is the comic book industry dying, and if so, why? Okay, now my thoughts on this. It's not necessarily that the industry is dying, but it is actually on the rise, but one portion of it, the main root of it, is not, in my opinion, doing that well, and that is the actual comic book. Because all the outlying factors of the industry, so on it large, is doing well. Like, of course, you got the movies, you got the paraphernalia that goes with the movies, you got the toys. My issue as a comic book slash graphic novel creator is what is going on with the literary part of it, the actual books. Um, there is an issue, in my opinion, and from my observation, with the book portion of the comic book industry, the comics industry. Um, Not so much graphic novels, because graphic novels kind of hit a little bit differently because it's situationally that it's like one shot. You got it all in there. You can buy it, take it and leave. It can keep going. You can pick it up and it's complete. And they're using graphic novels in actual schools, which actually data has shown that it has helped with reading in kids in schools. Uh, However, they're not so quick to use just the serialized 24 to 35 page comic book in the school setting, but graphic novel, which based on the last definition I checked, is a comic book that is 64 pages or greater. Um, so they're more apt, and that's what they're using. The thicker comic books, but the serialized comic book, um, the Western serialized comic book, um, is in my opinion starting to have some difficulty. The major brand names probably are still doing okay because they have millions of dollars to dump into this. There are some upstarts that are doing okay, but what I would, that it's a difficult road. Now I do have some, I guess, some ideas and of what how to save the actual, I guess, comic book sector of the market. We have noticed, through observations, through a lot of other things, we've seen the rise of manga, which still is a comic book or comics, but um, you know what needs to happen comparatively with manga in comparison to um, Western comic books. This is also starting to, I guess, create like a decrease in interest in Western comics. And by all means, I like manga. I like, they have some very, new. The stories are refreshing. They're new. Uh, what we're getting here in Western comics, things are starting to get saturated. Everybody is now trying to add a spin to make, I guess, heroes that we've had in the past into, more gritty, grimier individuals, and it was helping, but in the big picture, uh, now the market is getting kind of like where they're just doing a hot spot, just grabbing on every I guess mainstream character, and now they have, we're creating like situations that's like, I guess, avid or diehard fans that are kind of like, well, you know why are you doing this to this particular character? And in subsequent episodes, I discussed that more in depth. But right now, I'm talking about just about the comic book market. Okay. Now I've gone to some comic cons. Been going. Got some schedule this year. Went to a few last year. But what I'm seeing is, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, but what I'm seeing is like a lot of people are coming to comic cons now to get autographs signed by the people that are starring in the movies, and not necessarily for the the actual to purchase books, comic books, or to see new artists, or and I'm not trying to make it a issue, because I'm an artist, and I feel that more people should come by my table. But yeah, I've spoken with some other artists, and it's kind of like when you look at old school comic book fans, they're there for the comic books. And I had a couple guys stop by my table, and one it was a guy probably my age range, and he was commenting on my style, looking very similar to some things of the past when you would go into the corner store, the gas station, back in the day, and they got the little comic racks, and he said it's bringing back nostalgia of being able to go to the comic book racks because you're excited about the next issue that's coming out, and so on and so forth. Two things, that's another added thing. They don't have those racks in there anymore, and a lot of like little convenience stores and stuff. So that's taking away some of the accessibility. Um, Also, the comic books are now competing, like I said, with the movies, which the movies are doing a great job in regards to bringing attention to the market and bringing fans to. But the fans are now, like I said, they're not coming to come to Artist Alley, or to actually. Um, a lot of the new fans aren't coming to Artist Alley to see new independent artists, or for that matter, they actually get comic books. It's an opportunity to kind of dress up like your favorite character for the day and go see the guys that was in the movie. And I really don't want anybody to think that, hey, I'm hating on um, the movies or cosplay or anything like that, because I'm not. Just coming from the standpoint of the actual comic book itself, and what is going on with that particular, I guess, sector of the market. So we got these things that um, I guess the comic book industry, the comic books are competing against. They're competing against um, movies. They're competing against, you know, non, I guess, westernized comics, Western comics. Uh, they're also comic books are dealing with saturation now. And what I mean by saturation is that anybody with a Wacom tablet is now attempting to create a comic book. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the stories are that great. They're just trying to. It seems like a lot of situations, things are being, I guess, thrown out there for the flair. And yeah, you got some great new artists, but there's no story behind it. It's just action poses upon action poses, fight scenes, and then you have the opposite end of the spectrum where whoever's doing a specific book is attempting to make sure that I can pitch this to make a movie out of it, because that's where I feel like my money's going to come from. People, so they're drawing the whole thing is like a screenplay, and there's so much dialogue in it that it's being written to be later turned into a movie. So, and you know that's leading people that are into comic books down the road of like, this is not what what I'm looking for in comics, and it's taking new readers into like, well, thinking that this particular format is what comic books are about, and comic books should be, and this is this all of these thoughts are my opinions, and I guess my observations of what I think. It should be a mix of dialogue that has a story around it, and then action. And by no means, I guess my book's gonna. I guess I try to create my books based on that, and I'm pretty sure that there are some people that may say, well, they have. I guess they have their opinions on my books, so. That may not be, I guess, favorable, but that's okay. Everybody has their opinions. But again, these are some factors of why I think the industry, the actual comic book portion of it is starting to falter. I have so I guess now I've named, kind of listed a couple things, movies, uh, non-Western comics, saturation of the market, everybody trying to, I guess make things commercialized for movies, and that's like I said, creating a backlash of like where you're not putting out quality books, which is causing a drop off, and also we're also living in the digital age, um, which is nothing wrong with web comics, anything, something like that. The web comics or they have the stop motion comics, and actually I like the stop motion comics, and but again, the root of all of this is the actual comic book, and I would hate to see at some the whole we lose that basic component, which is where it all started from. But in the second part of this video, part two, I do have some answers and some solutions to actually, kind of not necessarily save comic books, but yeah, I guess it would be saving the comic books, well, Alan knows that save comic books, while also helping the industry. So stay tuned for part two. That should be coming. That'll be coming on the next Saturday. So I'm gonna be like videos should be posting Saturday morning. So that's what I'm going to try. I'm going to get a regular schedule going Saturday morning. But anyway, stay tuned for that video part two. What needs to be done to actually save comic books? All right. If you liked the video and you found it interesting, please subscribe to the channel. Push the like button, do all that good stuff. And I do have, then the links below if you want to check out some of my books and my website. Please do so. It'll be greatly appreciated. Again, I almost come and say, eyes will hear, ears will see. You all have a good one. All righty.